To discuss these developments, we are joined by Bicol Saro Representative Ridon, Chair of the House Committee on Public Accounts. Good morning, Congressman. Thanks for joining us again. Nakamute po kayo, Kong. We can't hear you. Let's try that again.
Thank you for having me.
Great. So, Kong, can you share us more details about yesterday's hearing?
Well, nakausap namin yung DPWH kahapon and I think they have clarified point by point the statements made by the President during his last press conference. So I think the President has been complaining about 6,000 projects not being specified with the exact type of flood control being built, no? But they said yesterday that that might be a bit inaccurate, and they said that no, there are details actually for all of these projects. No? Secondly, the President also said that many projects in different locations have the exact same project cost. No?
That's right.
But they explained yesterday that it is based on a detailed unit price analysis. So basically, they have a standard calculation formula for these specific projects. No? Thirdly, the DPWH, the President was lamenting that the DPWH was spending on flood control projects in non-flood prone areas. No? But they said yesterday that they have their own assessment of flood prone areas. So it is basically not dependent on the National Adaptation Plan made by the Climate Change Commission and the DNR relating to flood prone areas. No? And fourth, they also stated that just because these 15 contractors are the biggest firms, size and scale of these firms are not exactly an indication of an irregularity. What is an indication of irregularity would be if there are problems in the bid procurement and whether or not their projects are incomplete, delayed, substandard, or a ghost. And unfortunately, yesterday, the DPWH also said that in their listing of the 15 contractors, they have yet to see whether or not these are actually incomplete, delayed, substandard, or ghosts. No? But I think we have to acknowledge that the public has been reporting, media has been reporting, and a local government unit, Iloilo City, has been reporting that one of these named contractors in the list of 15 had actually been, I think, cited as having delayed projects.
Okay.
That's right.
All right.
Given Kong yung mga binanggit mo about the explanation ng DPWH, how do you plan to handle this information given well, the President didn't really say initially na anomalous. He said questionable. While we understand may matrix of how they compute yung project na nagkakapareho, ang sinasabi ni Pangulo, maybe 1 or 2 or 3 nagkakapareho, but to have multiple projects of the same amount, different barangays with different needs, medyong yan ang questionable sa kanya. So maybe for him, it's also a question of how are you budgeting these things? Baka mali ang pagbabudget nyo. So how do you take this information?
Kahapon talaga pinaliwanag po talaga ng mga regional directors kahapon na ang totoo, kaya halimbawa 100 million yan. Kasi nga, meron talaga silang formula, may calculation, ba't umabot yan based on a specific type of project. No? So, I guess kailangan ho nila talagang maglinaw bakit ganun ho yung report na umabot ho sa Presidente. Lalo tigit, it was a major pillar of that press conference.
Yeah.
No? But again, I think we'd rather focus on what the public and the media and I think other partners are saying today. No? Yung nakita nga ho natin, I think even TV5 has already made the report nga na yun na nga, yung Iloilo City LG, yung sabi niya, para dun sa isang named contractor, non-functional. And that is the quote.
That's right.
Functional daw po. Pero it was also asked yesterday. No? I think the DPWH admitted that there are particular delays in the implementation of that particular project. So hindi din nila masabi at this point na talaga pong substandard or ghost. Ito po mga proyekto po na ito. So I think we're just starting everything. Pero I think as soon as, I guess we get the hang of it, na talaga ho nagre-report na po yung mga tao, iniikutan ho talaga lahat ng mga lugar. Tingin ko may matitisod at may matitisod po talaga tayong actual na
Right.
problema.
But of course, Kong, aside from these contractors, yung pagpunta natin dun sa mga, if ever, na mga anomalous na flood control projects, we would want to know also, the public would want to know also, sino yung mga nalilink na mga key government officials dito sa mga contractors na to, particularly ang mga congressmen. So, Secretary Bonoan said of DPWH, their hands are tied, hindi naman daw nila ma-prevent ang mga companies owned by politicians na makasali sa mga bidding. So how can we solve this kind of reasoning? We all know naman that, di ba, parang ethical, for an example po si Congressman Zaldico, isa sa po siya sa mga nalilink dito sa yung SunWest na contractor, no? Even though they're saying na nag-divest na siya noong 2019, ang dami pa po nagsasabi na may hand pa rin siya sa pagdesisyon. But, that's a different topic. So, how can we solve this kind of reasoning po?
Well, again, kailangan natin mag-clarify. Merong constitutional prohibition sa mga members of Congress, so congressmen and senators, na magkaroon po ng hand sa any contract in government. At pangalawa, yung ating pong anti-graft laws, meron pong prohibition sa mga kamag-anak po ng mga government officials, kasama po yung mga kongresista, na makialam sa mga kontrata within the third degree of consanguinity. No? So yan po yung dalawang prohibitions po sa mga members of Congress, senators, and congressmen. No? So I think yan po yung una natin dapat tiyakin. At yun kasi yung pagbabatayan po kung sino po yung dapat siya sa atin na mga miyembro po ng Kongreso. So, syempre, tama po yung binanggit nyo, kasama sa mga nalilink po dyan si Congressman Zaldico, and tama rin po yung binanggit nyo na I think nag-divest na po siya as early as 2019. So, very important ho, ang trigger po talaga sa lahat ng ito. Again, like what DPWH stated yesterday, yung fact of size or fact of scale na malalaking mga kontratista po ito doesn't mean na there is an irregularity. Magkakaroon po ng irregularity na kapag malaki ka man o maliit ka, nagkaroon ka ng substandard project, incomplete project, delayed project, or at worst, ghost project.
So, maasahan po ba namin itong mga 15 contractors na to ay maimbitahan po in one of your hearings as well as the congressman din na nai-involve dito?
I think that is the commitment of the future Tri-Committee pagka talaga nailatag na po natin ito. Pagka talaga named sila in a particular anomalous transaction, incomplete, delayed, substandard, ghost, no? Talagang mapapatawag po sila para po magpaliwanag. Kasama po, yung pong mga nililink din po syempre ng mga politiko sa mga kontrata po na ito.
Kung, ito sa topic yung kay Mayor Benjamin Magalong about yung pass-through taxes na supposedly na pag hindi ka daw back ng isang congressman at may bagong kontratista na papasok, may babayaran ka daw na certain pass-through tax, which umabot na po kay Palace Press Officer Claire Castro, and I think they're trying to bridge the communication lines between Mayor Magalong and President Marcos, which is sa side ng Malacanang, it's worth daw to take a look at this ongoing accusation si Mayor Magalong. Ano po ang tugon nyo dito? Are you going to take a look at this?
Well, again, and we'd like to reiterate it, it has been, I think, more than 3 weeks, no? And I think more than a month na parang binabanggit na ho niya na meron siyang 67 lawmakers, contractors in his list. No? We're still waiting for that list, actually.
Okay.
And previously, we stated that we are open to inviting him to Congress and to make his presentation. But he will be compelled to actually make that list public under oath in that presentation.
So you have invited na po si Mayor Magalong?
No, we haven't kasi we have to formalize the Tri-Committee first. No?
But
Pero
you will invite?
We are open to inviting him, no? But he has to state that particular 67 list. Kasi it's a very specific list
Yeah.
na sinasabi ho niya in so many public fora. And we want to subject it to actual scrutiny under oath.
Given,
Kung sino ba, para mabigyan ng pagkakataon din po itong mga taong ito
yes,
na ipatanggol din po yung kanila pong mga sarili.
So kung given na hindi pa, these are all accusations at this point, ay lalabas nyo po yung names or under executive session muna pending na wala pang solid evidence?
Hindi, ilabas niya. I think the burden of proof is on the accuser. No? So
Okay.
the burden of proof is on Mayor Magalong, and we will invite him even if he basically labeled the congressional probe as a moro-moro. Hindi ba?
Yes.
Para sige, okay, you can call it whatever you want to call it, but we will still invite you, provided that you actually give that actual list of 67 legislators, congressmen, and state it under oath.
Pero what do you have to say po, Congressman, dun sa mga tao nagsasabi na kayo, iimbestigahan nyo yung mga sarili ninyo. And in fact, Majority Leader Congressman Sandro Marcos has already stated na open naman siya na magkaroon ng independent body na mag-investigate dito, not the Congress itself.
Well, sumasalubong ho tayo dun sa binabanggit po ni Majority Leader Sandro Marcos. Ang totoo, pagka ho napangalanan po ang isang legislator, the House Strike Committee can actually recuse itself and defer this particular concern to a third-party probe. No? Pwede ho natin gawin yan. Pero again, we have to be very clear, pagka naman ho hindi involved yung pong mga legislators, I think the Strike Committee should still have actual jurisdiction. Kasi hindi naman ho lahat ng mga anomalous contracts, meron pong supposedly kasabwat po ng mga legislators, senador man yan, o kongresista.
Kung I'd like to clarify things also kasi of course si President Marcos, this all stemmed from his dismay sa nangyaring baha. While he did not really directly say anomalous, ang question ko is, tanong ng marami, since your committee is going to tackle this in aid of legislation, are you also going to take a look at, aside from yung anomalous supposedly ways of conducting yung budget, more efficient ways of implementing projects? Kasi I think that's what the President is also saying. There must be more efficient ways of implementing projects aside from yung sinasabi niyang subjecting it to public scrutiny.
Well, yung isa dun sa talagang gusto mo nating mangyari dito, lahat po dapat ng mga flood control, actually hindi lang flood control, kundi lahat po ng mga infra projects, whether National Expenditure Program originated, ibig sabihin, proposed by the President, or Congressional Initiative originated infrastructure proposed by senators and congressmen, kailangan po bago implement yan, meron pong actual na feasibility studies. No? Yan po yung lament ng ating pong DPWH secretary. Sabi niya, pagka daw po congressional initiative ng mga kongresista at mga senador, para nga maigsiho yung panahon nila para po magkaroon ng actual na pag-aaral dito. No? So, ako, ang pagtingin ko, wala namang problema magkaroon ng congressional initiatives for whatever, for infrastructure or for social services, provided na malinaw po yung pag-aaral kung bakit ho natin na ginagawa ang mga bagay po na ito.
And lastly, very quick na lang po, Kong, basically the Congress agrees with the calls na magkaroon ng third-party investigation for these projects. May nakita na po ba tayo na po pwede? Sino ba yung po pwedeng mag-investigate nito, yung third party natin?
Well, I think we will leave it to the President. No? So, to make this determination, ang sabi naman po a Majority Leader Sandro Marcos already stated that the executive has the prerogative kasi syempre sa kanila po talaga sinasubmit ito pong list ng DPWH. So we will leave it to him if he wants to have an independent probe on the matter, particularly if these anomalous contracts actually involve legislators.
All right, thank you for your time, Bicol Saro Representative Terry Ridon, Chair of the House Committee on Public Accounts, for joining us.
Maraming salamat. Magandang umaga.